Professor Stuart Russell, Eva Navarro López, and Carl Mabuka. So thank you, Valera. Thank you, Matthew. So just give me a minute. So Professor Stuart Russell could not join as he is traveling between Montreal to Paris. So he has recorded a short video for us, and I am just going to play it. Okay.
We
yeah. Okay.
Sean, we had a structure of our
okay. You have the video, Eva, or do you want to play the video, or do you want me to play the video?
Yes, but we had a structure in our panel, and yes, and
Yeah. Please go
we
ahead.
were planning to put the video. Yes.
You want to talk about it, and then you want me to play the video, or how do you want to do?
No, we start the panel. We have a structure, so we wanted to establish like our manifesto for the panel,
Okay.
like setting the tone.
Okay.
Me
Sure.
and Carl. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everybody. Thank you for the invitation. This is the panel of broken systems. Sorry, I need to, I would like to put, yes, okay, perfect. So, like other technical advances that promised to revolutionize humanity, AI has encountered significant setbacks. Computer scientists who create algorithms taint them with their own biases. AI development and research is predominantly led by privileged communities, especially in academia, where biases and racism against disadvantaged backgrounds are pervasive. What is currently called AI is the mirror of ourselves, society, tech landscape, and academia. When we change, AI will change. How can we accept technology that trounces our fundamental human rights, that contributes to the destruction of the environment, that has many negative ethical and legal implications, that justifies algorithmic biases and lack of diversity, and is so efficient for wars? What are the systems we are breaking? What are the broken systems we are perpetuating and do not want to change? Why are they broken? Is AI an improved means to an improved ends, like racism, misogyny, discrimination, exploitation, plagiarism, exclusion, inequity, and networks of power and privilege? These are not invincible giants, but rather complex problems we can solve with determination, creativity, and collective action. The basis of progress lies in education, science, and knowledge. But the education and science systems themselves have been in crisis for decades. And what is currently called AI is just taking advantage and benefiting from this crisis. Broken systems, systems that is instead of being open to change, they break the people who are making the change. Today, in this panel, with Carl Mabuka in live, myself and Stuart Russell in a recorded video, we dare to think, we dare to dream of a better future where the collective is above the individual, where the many are above the interest of the very few. We are not chasing an impossible dream. We are building a new reality in AI, one where diversity, equity, inclusion, and ethics are not just buzzwords and lip services, but the very foundation of our technological future. Each line of unbiased code, each diverse and fair hire, each ethical decision in AI development is a step towards this reality. To shape the future of AI and technological progress, we must adopt a new humane perspective. Superficial solutions will only perpetuate tokenism and vicious circles of privilege. This panel will challenge prevailing narratives on ethics in AI and responsible AI, sparking a profound debate on the current status quo. And now I pass the baton to Cal Mabuka.
Well said, Eva. Before I begin, I just want to give a brief so I come more from the technical side. I'm not a developer myself, but I've been using digital systems before to lead transformation. And I want to start this off with a Kinyarwanda saying. We Rwandans here we say, ijisho ryundi rikurinda ishamba, ariko iryawe niryo rikurinda urugo. This literally means another's eye can help you in the forest. You know, because you go to the forest to get firewood and water and all that kind of stuff. But your eye, your own eye protects your home. You can't delegate that to someone else. And that's really how I see our role in shaping the future of AI, especially in Africa. Yes, we can put pressure on AI companies to be ethical in their process and products. But at the end of the day, it's up to us. It's up to us to look after our own communities. We need to be vigilant. We need to be proactive. We need to make sure that this technology we use and that we are building, does it truly adopt and does it truly serve us? Imagine a world where the power of AI belongs to all of us. A world where a student in Nairobi, a business owner in Tokyo, and a leader in Bogota, probably where Eva comes from, each have the tools to shape their future. We see the wonders of AI today. We have faster solutions, we have new possibilities, and dreams of what we once thought was unattainable, we now have within our grasp. But we can't ignore the price that we're paying. Stories of data stolen, consent ignored every day, and creativity taken without credit, as we've had the case with Anthropic. AI has enabled incredible progress, that's true, but it has also exposed us to new forms of exploitation and harm. We all know of deepfakes and deeper public surveillance and misdiagnosis. So let's wake up. Let's get curious, and let's demand more as a society. Let's insist that our humanity is never the cost of progress. And whether you're a journalist, you're a business leader, or simply someone with a voice, you have the right to ask for consent, for fairness, for dignity, for fair compensation for your hard work. In the end, AI should be our ally, not our adversary. And this isn't just a manifesto, it's an invitation to all of us to demand a future where technology serves us all and not just the privileged few.
Thank you, Cal, for that powerful message. And now, just to close this manifesto, now we put the video of Stuart Russell.
Sure. Eva, okay, you have a thing.
Hello, I'm Stuart Russell, professor at Berkeley, working on AI and AIC. I'm sorry I can't be there. I'm in Montreal, about to get on a flight to Paris. I'm going to talk briefly about the present and the future. Where are we? What's happening? And what's going to happen? And should we be concerned? First, AI has changed. For most of the last 80 years, AI was largely an engineering discipline. We built on or developed mathematical theories of reasoning, planning, decision-making, and learning, and turned those theories into systems whose properties we could predict and prove. That's all changed. Now we train vast black boxes with trillions of parameters to imitate human verbal behavior. We have essentially no idea how these systems work, but we do know they have learned to imitate humans very well. But human verbal behavior is intended to achieve goals, to persuade, to impress, to survive, to seduce, to sell, and so on. Inevitably, the AI systems are acquiring and pursuing these kinds of goals on their own account. This is an unavoidable consequence of how they have grown. We are intrinsically unsafe. And we are spending more this year than the world has ever spent on any technological project. 25 times as much as we spent on the Manhattan Project, 250 times more than the Large Hadron Collider, all with the goal of creating AGI, systems more intelligent than human beings in every dimension. So will we succeed? In my view, it's probable, perhaps a 70% chance, but many others think less, that progress stalls, an AI ice age ensues with more than $10 trillion of capital disappearing. But we cannot rule out success. And then what? At present, the developers freely admit they have no plan for how to control the AGI systems they aim to create. And governments have no plan to require them to do so. So there's a significant chance of a Chernobyl-sized catastrophe, such as a coordinated sabotage of financial systems, communication systems, or electrical grids, that directly or indirectly would cost millions of lives and cause the economic collapse of many countries. Perhaps then governments would act. The other possibility is a much larger catastrophe in which humanity loses control irreversibly, and we have no say over whether we continue to exist. The third option, that things magically go well, is not realistic. We cannot retain power forever over intrinsically unsafe systems far more powerful than ourselves, especially when we don't know how they work. These are not fringe views. They are shared by most leading AI researchers and by the CEOs of the companies developing AGI. One of those CEOs told me recently that the Chernobyl scale event is the best case we can hope for. A senior researcher at OpenAI told me he thinks the chance of extinction is now 60%. So what needs to happen? There are regulatory measures that will help. As we do with medicines and nuclear power stations, we can require developers to prove safety as a conditional market access. But the developers cannot do that because their technology is intrinsically unsafe. And they tell us that we, the human race, cannot protect ourselves with such rules because they do not know how to comply. Obviously, this is a fallacy. They can comply by not building these systems until they know how to make safe AI systems, just as nuclear power developers didn't build nuclear plants until they had some idea how to stop them from exploding. The AI industry must choose a different technology path, one that builds in safety from the beginning. And we must know what they are doing. We can think of AGI as if it were a new kind of airplane, one that's never been tested. On its first flight, every human being is going to be a passenger. And the flight is going to take off and never land, which means that the technology has to work perfectly the first time forever. Until we are sure of that, we cannot get on this plane. Thank you very much.
Perfect. So now we start the debate.
Yeah, Eva. So, Eva, let's talk about these broken systems. And like we like to say, this panel won't just be another tech debate, yeah? Like it's a real conversation between two people about whether AI, as powerful and as fast-moving as it is, can truly serve humanity without losing it. Can we actually trust these tech giants to regulate? What are your thoughts?
Cal, sorry, the sound. So can you repeat the question, please?
Yes. I was talking about. I was just giving an introduction to the tech debate we're going to have.
Yes.
I was talking about broken systems. How do we transform broken systems into humane systems?
Yes.
And also, like,
yes, of course.
what are the specific challenges that you're thinking of, challenges and consequences of using this AI? And maybe you might end up by, giving us something positive about AI.
Yes. Sorry, there was I had a bit of a problem with the sound. Yes, broken systems. We were in the preparation for this debate. We were thinking, so what is the opposite of a broken system? And we said a humane system. And I think so. The sky is the limit for the benefits and for the harms of AI. And let's not forget that AI is a field that it has been since Alan Turing established it in 1948. So almost 80 years. So what the main problem is that we are forgetting that what we are talking now is AI is not even AI. And it's not anymore about technology. It is a social control. But we cannot keep negative and defeated. We cannot feel like that. And we must be positive and with a lot of strength to fight to fight against a lot of things. And I'm going to give more or less a list of things that I think so that we need to fight against. Algorithmic biases is the first thing that we need to fight against. Algorithmic biases against minorities and disadvantaged communities, because we need to repeat this 1,000 times, because in all the frameworks of responsible AI, etc., they forget minorities and disadvantaged communities. There is something that I call lack of diversity, inequity, and exclusion. The main problem of AI, or what they call AI, because from my viewpoint it's not AI, and what is AI? I was putting that question in the definitions in the previous hour. What is AI? Can anybody explain that to me? Because now it's an empty word. So there is a lack of diversity of ideas and of people in this that is called AI. So are we going to be all users and not creators of technology? Who has decided that this is the AI that we must all use? This is a very small part, technically, me, that I am an academic and a professor in AI. So who has decided this? How is the global majority? These are all the problems that I'm seeing, and I'm transforming them into questions. How is the global majority going to drive all the change that we need? What about the hidden labor that you express it very well, that you have it very close to you, Cal? What about the environmental impact that we are forgetting? The water and energy usage of these systems that are now called AI, and they are not even AI. And me being an academic, one sector where the adoption of AI is especially concerning and scary, and is now, what a surprise, it is enforced by many universities, the use of AI in education and research. This is where the critical and creative thinking is substituted by the commodification of knowledge, the standardization of thinking, and the homogenization of ideas. It is the death of the scientific method. Have we forgotten the scientific method? How the codes of conduct are going to be rewritten now to normalize and promote plagiarism and ideas theft. But we have hope in different movements. And I can mention specific movements and specific projects that I am very close to, and I know the people. For example, There is a European project that the base is in Barcelona that I am part of, is Gender Music Tech and the Music Gender Metadata Manifesto. And this is related with all the consequences of this called AI in the music and artistic world. So what a surprise. The digital platforms, they don't recommend female artists as much as men. What a surprise. Why I'm not surprised about this? We need to make what I was saying in my manifesto. The problem is that the music world is also misogynist. So in this project, we have a specific solution. We see that there is a problem with the metadata. It is invisibilized. We don't have the data of gender. So we are pushing a world manifesto with the gender metadata manifesto, the music gender metadata manifesto, and we are fighting for that to be included. And we have been involved in many different initiatives with the great Thais Ruiz de Alda in Barcelona. There is also hope when we talk about sorority music maps. So yes, there is also movements like the generative AI refusal movement. So, and it is a movement of hope and has the key question that asking ourselves, why? Who has decided that the adoption of this called AI, that is not AI, is inevitable? Why? So also there are also projects like the two ones that I'm going to mention from the University of Chicago, the Glaze Project and Nightshade, to defend in this Gen AI refusal, to defend the use of our artistic work. So if you have images as an artist, or your own images, you can pass the filter of the Glaze project, and it is a defensive tool. So then these generative AI tools, they cannot use your images. The Nightshade is much more interesting. It is a offensive one. So if your images that have been passed by the filter of Nightshade are used by these sophisticated statistical tools, so it tries to break the algorithm. That is great. This is a kind of the resistance that we need. It is sad in a way. We also have movements of data feminism and feminist AI, because if AI is not feminist, it cannot be. It cannot be. We also have movements like the Indigenous Protocol and Artificial Intelligence Working Group, that the indigenous people, this is in Canada, and it has been like a cascading effect in other communities, to try to see how the indigenous people can be integrated in the design of AI systems. We also have the Algorithmic Justice League, and also that it has been mentioned in this summit. Timnit Gebru created the Distributed AI Research Institute that also tries to track all the injustices of these systems. And of course, there's something that I have very close, that we prove for me, the positive thing of all of this, or all these harms, is that we are building communities of support, and there is a counter movement to counter-rest all of this. So I want to mention Tecnolatinas, from the wall of Latin America, or America, the biggest America in the continent of America, because America is not a country. And also I want to mention the work of the great Mia Shadant with women in AI ethics, that it is a very positive movement. It's like empowering disadvantaged communities, the 99%, to try to integrate all of these people inside this AI craziness. So yes, so negative and positives, the reaction of the collective. Is the collective versus the individual, and the collective always wins.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And now we have a second reflection. So, Cal, what is one guardrail, let's say a policy, a tool, a habit, a code of conduct, that every AI team should have? And why? And it is very valuable, your experience, because you come from the business world.
Yeah. If I had to name one essential guardrail that every team should have, I'd say listen fast, build later. And I say that not just as someone working with AI, but as someone building from Africa for Africa. In Africa, too often we see AI models built far away, in Silicon Valley, and trained on data from somewhere else. And then these are dropped into African markets like a plug and play solution. But our realities don't really plug and play. Ours are layered, they are nuanced, they are Africa context rich. And for example, take something as simple as a name. In Rwanda, where I come from, names carry stories of family, of place, of struggle, of resilience. But an AI model trained on only Western data might flag those particular names as irregular or even risky. And some might think it's a bug. That's not a bug. That's a blind spot. And we are seeing consequences globally. In the US, I had hospitals have been caught using AI systems that prioritize white patients over Black ones. And I don't think it's really out of malice, but it's just because the system learned from biased data. In the UK, we hear that facial recognition tools are misidentifying people of color at very alarming rates. And even here in the global South, algorithms are being used to quietly, they're being introduced quietly into border control, and are used in credit scoring and even in policing. And often this has no local oversight, no consent, no recourse when these systems fail. So yes, we need technical guardrails, but more than that, we need cultural guardrails. The habit of starting with listening, not coding, especially in Africa, we've learned this the hard way. What happens when we're excluded from design and when systems ignore the informal, the rural, and the multilingual. In Africa, we have 55 states now, 55 countries, and all those speak different languages, and many nations have different languages within their nation. And when this happens, as Africans, we don't just lose accuracy, we lose trust. In my own work, from digitizing civil services to transforming rural healthcare with AI, I've seen again and again, trust doesn't come from code, no. It comes from conversation. So my call to every AI team in Africa, but also all over the world, whether you're in Nairobi, right next door, or in Silicon Valley, like many of you are, before you build anything, let's go sit down with the people we're building it for. Not just once, not just in the pilot phase, but consistently. Let's make listening a process in itself, not just a checkbox that you say, oh, we listened. No. Because in the end, the best safeguard isn't just the policy or compliance that we tick off, it's humility. And an AI without humility is not a humanity-forward AI.
Very good points. Humility, that is what we need in these times. And then connecting with what you have just said, it is very interesting that you share a time, if you can, when business pressure almost led to an ethical shortcut. And it is interesting because then if it is an ethical shortcut, then it is ethical So, yes, what is your experience on that? Is there any time that you found yourself in this situation?
Well, I wouldn't say myself, but just as a collective.
Yes,
Because you ask, has there ever been a time when business pressure almost led to ethical shortcut? It reminds me of a Swahili saying. The Swahili, they say, mwenye njaa hana marufuku. And I know many of us here don't speak Swahili, so I'm going to translate that for us. This means when
please
people are
talk.
desperate. Yeah, so it means when people are desperate or they're under pressure, they'll break rules. In our case, we're talking about ethics. Yes, they'll even break ethical ones. And I think this is the real dark side of the move fast and break things innovation culture that we have today. When tech startups are burning runway cash and they're chasing investor validation, ethics can sometimes feel like a luxury until it isn't, you know. Speaking as probably the only African presenting today, we've seen firsthand the cost of invisible labor. Let me take you to Nairobi next door, but even Gulu in Uganda, where I am, and some parts of India, I hear. Because sometimes the shortcut doesn't happen in your office. It happens in your supply chain. And when you learn this, you either look away or you speak up. I don't know how many of us have heard about the summer sauce story. That story was one of those moments. On paper, it looked like the dream. A mission-driven company creating digital jobs for vulnerable communities, while also empowering AI systems for the biggest tech brands in the world. Think of Meta, think of Scale AI. And it was framed as impact empowerment, inclusion. But then the cracks started to show. Reports began surfacing from data labelers, especially in Kenya and in Uganda, who were being paid pennies to stare at graphic, violent, traumatizing content for hours on end. And also that large AI systems could learn what to block. They were told they were helping make the internet safer, but no one asked who was protecting them. In India, similar concerns emerged: long hours, psychological damage, and all of this is done quietly behind the clean interface of global innovation. So Eva, to answer your question directly, yes, business pressure can push teams and entire companies towards ethical shortcuts, especially when the mission sounds good, especially when there's a deadline, especially when most affected are far away, in places where silence is expected. And here's the danger, Eva. AI needs enormous amounts of labeled data. And too often we outsource that labor to the most vulnerable, Africans and people in Asia who are desperate, without giving them dignity, safety, or even a voice. This isn't just about one company, Eva. It's about an industry. It's about how we define responsibility when these supply chains become digital. And it's about whether we care how something is built, or do we care just that it works? For me, this has been a wake-up call. If we're not auditing the impact of our innovations, not just on the end users, but on those behind the scenes, then we've missed the whole point. Whenever we're faced with such realities, we need to ask ourselves, would I be okay if it were my own child doing that job? Because impact is not just what we build, it's how you build it. And ethics is not just a checkbox that we take, it's a choice, whether this choice is made under pressure or not.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Very powerful. In our discussions, you mentioned that we should measure in some manner this with the ethical pressure index. I found it quite an interesting idea. And then me that I am a bit radical, I was saying, okay, but is ethics negotiable? So principles cannot be negotiated. But it is interesting that in business or in everywhere that ethical pressure index, a very interesting idea that we had in our conversations. So very powerful. Let's pass to our fourth reflection.
Yeah. And I think you're going to tackle this, Eva. I wonder how can societies make companies, researchers, and governments accountable for the use of AI that affects us?
That is a very good debate to have, and there has been some glimpses today, and I think so that is fundamental that each of us as human beings and persons, members of society, that we are integrated on this and not leaving the companies, not leaving researchers, and not leaving governments to decide for us. So innovation must produce social progress. Otherwise, it's not innovation. It is just hype. That is what we have now. And then I think so that there is a key question that we haven't asked today to ourselves. And is responsible AI a contradiction by itself? We haven't asked this in these 4 hours we are now talking about responsible AI. I think so it's a contradiction by itself. For this type of AI that I have a lot of doubts to consider it as AI. Are we referring to that generative AI is just sophisticated statistical methods that somebody has decided to invade all the world? Can that be responsible? If it is all about mitigating risks and harms, is that the right technology? Is it the right AI or is it the wrong AI? Who has decided that this is the future of AI? For whom? By whom? What for? There are things that really, they are really concerning. Are we really solving problems relevant to each of us as citizens? I think so that all these answers have to be solved by us as citizens. The solution is in the society. And we could devise a new area of research or whatever, a new field of citizen AI. And I can put examples in Catalonia, in Barcelona, where I was recently there. I opened the week of the music in Barcelona last month, and it was amazing. It was organized by the music producers and musicians of Barcelona, and I gave a monologue about ethics in AI. And it was very inspiring, very positive, seeing all the civic society involved on that, the musicians trying to make it, trying to, because the world of music is very impacted by these terrible generators of text, images, and videos that I am very reluctant to call it AI. In Barcelona, apart from the music industry, it is quite organized now, and they are trying to find solutions. So we find an association, a group of people in Catalonia called Civic AI. So, and they have devised a civic artificial intelligence protocol. Their principles are democratic regulation and supervision of AI by citizens and civil society participation in AI governance. This sounds like a dream, but we need to start. I don't know in your cities, probably we can open the debate later, but I have seen this quite well organized in Barcelona, in Spain. Debates with the public, debates in the streets, organized by different people like the organization Digital Femmes, also directed by Thais Ruiz de Alda, that it was also the originator of the project, the gender music tech. So there are very interesting things happening. Again, it is like a citizen lobby. And my question is, and I launch it, and we can debate later, can we make an international alliance of citizens for AI governance? I think so is the only way. The solution is not going to be in academia, that is a broken system now, in companies that we are seeing that is also broken, and in governments that now they are adopting and enforcing. For example, it was terrifying seeing the agreement that OpenAI in the UK government has done to install OpenAI products in all the services that the government gives to citizens. This is quite scary because what about our data? And it's going to be given to private companies, and a private company like OpenAI. So we need to introduce, Hint was mentioning this before too in a previous panel. So we need to have all of these community-driven projects and movements fighting against the profit-driven projects. So again, these are movements where the collective goal, it is above the individual goals. And I think so this is the future of technology, or call it AI.
Thank you, Eva.
And
Uh,
now this
something
is
else to
our
say?
last reflection.
Yes. Eva, how can you tell when a company's AI ethics program is just for show versus genuinely effective?
And me, that I'm not in the private sector, and I see it from outside as an academic and professor of AI, I think so that this is the times that we are living now is AI marketing, or marketing AI. So finalizing our reflections, so, and based on the core pillars of fairness, openness, transparency, and accountability, we have produced a Safe AI Toolkit to answer this question. I know Payal Arora before was saying that we don't need more toolkits, but this is a very condensed one and a quick one, and that I'm going to share now. And yes, so I think so that it was, we have, look, we have, you can download this safe download kit with the code and with this link. And I'm not going to go in detail, but we have 4 main parts. And the first part is we have 3 questions to ask before you implement any AI system. Also, we have the 3 is the magic rule of 3, the 3 non-negotiables for responsible AI. And I think so, we think that the 3 are the make, bias, unacceptable, bias, and discrimination. Bias is the same as discrimination. No ghost workers, and consent is not a checkbox. This is the non-negotiables. And we have put some links to interesting tools and articles that we have found, especially this Fair Learn that also relates with the previous panel, that there is a kind of metrics to measure fairness. The third part, is the AI guardrail checklist. So we put here some things that we think that you need to check before you launch any product. And this is a bit controversial, the last part. So the top 5 ethics cop-outs or gimmicks that we need to call out loud. And the typical sentences, and also we ask you as audience, what are the ones that you have found? The ones that Carl and I, we wanted to highlight is, oh no, it's just the algorithm. I'm doing AI for good. This is quite controversial because then if you are doing AI for good, then AI is for bad. So AI is evil. So it's the wrong technology. So for me, it's always a red flag when I listen AI for good because it's a contradiction by itself. Like responsible AI. So there are things that there is a matter of course. Any technology should be responsible and made for good. Also, the sentence, we are compliant with all local laws, and then I wash my hands. It is not our fault. It's the users that they don't know how to use it. And this is the one that we are listening every hour. Ethics slows down innovation. Regulation versus innovation. This is the great excuse for not considering our rights as a society. Okay, so you can download this toolkit, and also this is more fun. So here we have an AI poll for you to fill in now. So this is the code. Please scan it or go to menti.com with this code 32845660, and I can pass you the button, Cal, because I think so that you have the poll there. And now I'm going to do it myself, to do it
Yes.
in live.
Eva,
And
Carl,
we will share. Yes.
one of you can share this link in the chat so that people can respond. That will also be awesome.
Yes,
Yes.
you can
We
scan
the
this
link on the
code.
chat.
Yes, Cal, you can put it, but you need to code the ismenti.com and you put this code.
It
You
is
need to put this
menti.com.
code. Ismenti.com.
Okay.
So it's easy, and you need to put this code.
Okay, so this. Thank you, Eva.
So I'm going to go myself
so
too.
this.
Yes.
Carl and Eva, if you guys are done with the core topic, can I invite the audience to ask any questions to both of you?
Yes. So, yes, we would like
Yes.
that the audience tries to do the poll, and then we will show the results of the poll. And now we would like to open the debate. And now so now I think so that let's go all of us to the.
Okay. Oh, super awesome. I am just taking the poll right now as we speak.
So as you're doing the poll.
Okay, all of you guys, as Eva requested, can you scan your barcode and try to answer the poll? There are a few questions Eva and Carl has asked, very interesting questions related to this topic. If you guys can answer, I think it may be very useful for Eva and
Yes, we want to open the debate to the
sure.
floor. So
Yeah.
please, so now we open the debate to everybody. I'm going to, so now you have, everybody has scanned this code.
Sure.
Are you?
Yeah. I think it's just
you have it?
yes, Eva, I responded. So it's just 4 questions. It's going to take just only 1 minute. Just take your time
Yes.
to respond to this poll so that both Carl and Eva can even present their whatever as a community we are thinking.
Yep. So after the poll, we're going to share the results and then
sure.
cast those results as well.
Yes.
And the floor is open for questions, and I am just opening it up for audiences to unmute themselves. So all of you can unmute yourself now. Feel free to chime in, ask any questions to Eva and Carl. I think it was a great discussion, Eva and Carl.
Thank you, Shan.
Yes. So I'm going to stop sharing the screen because I imagine that now everybody is busy.
Okay. So I'm going to share my screen so we can see the results. We can all see the results.
Sorry. Just unpin myself.
let's see what has happened. This is quite exciting. Let's see what you think about.
Do we all see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. So from the results, the question was, who should take the lead in fixing an ethical AI worldwide? The majority of us say it's governments that should set clear rules. As we had from a few sessions before, government is regulation, but innovation normally comes before regulation. So I would want to hear from everyone who's on the call, from the 5 people who actually voted this in. How do they see that happening? And what are we missing that we can actually fix?
So we see
Anyone?
that we have 8 answers, and most of the people think that the government should take the lead in fixing an ethical AI.
I think it was very evident, Eva and Carl, last panel also, everybody believed that the government should be the one who should set up the clear rules and regulations. Maybe I think the next responsibility may come towards the tech companies, right? I think the poll is exactly reflecting the same.
Then there's, yes. Okay, we have only 8 people responding. So what are the biggest ethical lines? This is to open the discussion, and if somebody want to say something, please join. The poll was just an excuse to open the debate. So what are the biggest ethical lines you feel AI companies are crossing now?
So we talk about sweatshop AI. So this is what I spoke about. Workers exploited in silence. Then we have the Big Brother 2.0, which is, all the surveillance that's going around. It's packaged in a way to protect us, but how do we hold them accountable, the people who are surveilling us? How do we draw the boundaries of where it starts and where it ends, or who should be surveilled and who shouldn't? And how is that done? How's the data being collected, stored? How's the access to that data being done? How is that data being destroyed, if ever it is destroyed? And then bias, blindness, it's been a constant point being brought. Pretending fairness is built in. It's just like a cop-out, as Eva was saying. And intellectual theft. This seems to be the most popular within the crowd. Stealing without sharing. And it's one of those problems that if nothing is done, it's just going to get worse, especially when it comes to IP infringement and when it comes to copyright infringement as well. Eva, do you have something to say about that? Especially in the academic.
For me, it is so shocking that we all have accepted that everything that we do is going to be plagiarized and stolen. It is just amazing. It is unbelievable that we all have accepted this.
No, Ivan, I don't agree. The thing is, the entire Hollywood as well as the publishing industry is certainly concerned. I think there are multiple lawsuits happening against all these large AI companies. Just that, even I will put the blame on the publishing industry itself. So the entire media, they are not really talking a lot about what they are doing with respect to this AI companies. What do we know about the New York Times case against OpenAI? They themselves are not writing about their own case against OpenAI. So in fact, Suchir Balaji became a part of witness of that particular case. So once after he became
absolutely, absolutely. Probably I haven't expressed myself properly. What I'm trying to say that the magnitude of the problem is so big that we are not using all, because I'm not using those tools, because you can refuse to use them. But the magnitude of the problem is so big that the protests are very small in comparison with the magnitude of the problem and the impact of the problem. That is
Exactly.
what I am referring.
Exactly.
It is too little still, too little.
Agreed. Completely. 200%.
Yes. So
Okay.
then
And then
yes,
the response for question 3, this really sparks some really good debate. How do we best outsmart AI bias? Because the data is already out. The models are already trained on the data. If they had more, they would have trained the models on that data. So how do we come back from where we know we don't want to be to where we want to be by outsmarting the AI bias in diverse communities? And this seems to be a tie between several answers. So it's really a three-way tie. 2 people say unleash fairness watchdogs to keep AI honest. I totally agree. If no one is policing AI companies, how do you expect them to remain honest and to remain humane when profit is a real driving force behind many of these companies? Regularly publish transparent ethical adherence reports on AI companies. This also needs kind of like a watchdog. I think those two are related, because how are you going to enforce that the AI companies publish this data? And then I actually love this one: ban AI on sensitive areas like hiring and healthcare. I think banning it is maybe a strong word, but definitely limiting its use, because
why
I'll
not?
tell you,
Why
for
it has to be adopted? The main question is that we haven't really come today is why it has to be adopted. Why? Why? It's a matter of course to adopt this.
maybe
We are
from
not
a
making that
business standpoint.
question. We are starting with the assumption that we need to adopt all of us this. No, you don't have to. Why? Who has decided that? And this AI
Yeah,
that is not even AI.
I think maybe from a business standpoint that I come from, it is the idea that if there is a faster, cheaper way to do it, someone will do it. If I don't do it, my competition will. And so it starts that race of who's gonna get there fast. But that's
Yeah,
not
but who
really
has
like
started the chain? It's a chain of not thinking and no quick for not thinking. Yes, it's a trap.
yeah, sadly in a capitalist environment, the one who pays the piper determines the tune. And so when you see companies like Anthropic and OpenAI and Meta going really, really deep in investing in some of these, it's really they're trying to win that race. Think of it as an arms race, and just like what happened with nuclear warfare, like many countries built all these piles of nuclear weapons, and at the end, no one really won. It's like it's now a stalemate, and we live under constant fear of, if you get someone who's mad enough to press the button and start that war, or even just scare people and say, I'm gonna press it if this doesn't happen, and then becomes a bully. So that's really where we're heading when it comes to this AI race. But when it comes to physics, that's just the law of business. Where money is, people break rules, people make their own rules, people try and cover up the like I said earlier, is when someone is hungry or desperate, they'll do anything to stay alive.
Carl and Eva, so just to quickly do a time check, we have 1 more minute. I'll let both of you wrap up so that we'll take a good 45 minutes break before resuming back. Go ahead.
I think so. We have ended
awesome.
yes. Yes. And there are very good comments in
so
the chat too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, Eva, Carl, I'll let you wrap up in maybe whatever minutes you guys take. Let you wrap up the overall session, and maybe we can end the morning session with that, and then.
Yeah. I just want to wrap up by saying this, especially coming from business and tech, is that even when we know that that AI can amplify bias and invade our privacy and break the very trust that holds these societies together, our societies together, the scary part is, there's no global referee. And I think everything we say is really pointing us towards that. Like, who's the referee to this game? The game is going, but there are no rules. Every team is making their own rules. The goalposts keep shifting. Like, who's going to be that watchdog that keeps everyone in check, and so that the game can go well? And
No, in fact, I
no,
want yeah, go ahead.
referee, brave, very few brave people like our hero Suchir, Balaji, who do blow the whistle and often pay the personal price. And that's just sad. So we need to come out from the cycle of just demanding and like being able to like really, really write about this and push this and really demand for that accountability that we need. To just so that we shape the future. Because if not, AI as it is going to shape us. Yeah. Thank you. Over to you, Eva.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Eva, do you want to pass any closing comment?
Nothing. Thank you so much for the discussion, for the platform to make this debate, and let's hope that only when we change, AI will change.
Awesome. I think it's a great set of conversation both you and Carl Mabuka have put together. I think as I mentioned to many other panelists, it's just last, even though we have initiated this just over last 4 weeks, you and Carl met just over the last couple of weeks, and then you guys have been collaborating over the last week. And then we had a very productive broken systems debate, which spoke about innovation versus humanity. Can tech self-regulate? So I think even we had Professor Stuart Russell, even though he was traveling, I think he took time out. He was speaking out of airport between Montreal and Paris, and then he took time out of his schedule, and then he wanted to send a video recording for us to honor Suchir Balaji. And then Suchir Balaji, interestingly, studied under Berkeley under the leadership of Professor Stuart Russell. So I think phenomenal people like Professor Stuart Russell, Eva, yourself, and Carl, all of you have spoken. There is a bit of a good tech commitment scorecard which has come out of this. What are the red lines for regulations which also has come out of this? So we will certainly publish whatever materials you think it's appropriate, Eva, as a kind of a outcome of this whole summit. I'll take those also along with whatever we got it from the previous session, which is from Dr. Valera. So we'll make it a comprehensive thing and publish in the conference website. And let's take a quick break for next 45 minutes. We will resume back by 1:15 Pacific Daylight Time. And then maybe we can continue the conversation. There are interesting set of discussions. Mr. Ed Newton Rex, he's going to talk about how AI models are stealing creative work and what to do about it. He's going to give a AI copyright keynote. He has made public TED Talks. He is running a company called Fairly Trained Initiative, where he's giving a solution that how AI companies can still do continue innovate and do fair training using fairly generated data or copyrighted data. I think he has built a company around that, and a lot of AI companies who are ethical in nature are using that. So let's hear from him. And then we have an interesting set of people like Robin, Jackie, who are going to talk about the whistleblower safeguards, how to safeguard truth tellers. And also we are having a session about from Shankar Ganesh Srinivasan and Varun Sharma about AI transparency. And then we have a session from Prachi and Sonia about responsible AI in practice. and then there is a small break, and then post the break, we are going to have our friends from Stop AI, Sam Kitchener and Olga and Kiru Shah is going to join us, how we can build coalitions for future. And then finally, we will invite Balaji Ramamurthy, who's the father of Suchir Balaji. They are going to announce about a fund. They are launching Suchir Balaji Defense Fund towards a tower, sanctuary tower. And then finally, even we will have Purnima Ramarao, who's the mother, a proud mother of Suchir Balaji, who will share the path forward. So I think these are the list of sessions we have got. An interesting set of discussions till 4:45 p.m. PST. And I look forward to see all of you guys in another 45 minutes. I'll keep the Zoom open, but I'll stop the recording for now and then meet you guys after 45 minutes. Thank you.